guys can take it away whenever.
And the last night was heavy. I need communication. Tell me where's your location. Used to talk to.
This is a new part of the song.
I was just gonna say we never hear this much of it. I like it.
Now it's closer to 11 and
Still like it. I like it even more. It's like a whole song now.
That you're okay.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Therapy Rebranded. We're consistently inconsistent.
Ding.
That was quiet.
Ding.
You want to get started?
Yeah, am I starting with shit stains, right?
Yeah, shit stains.
I just want everybody to know this feels like a setup that I'm starting with this one.
It's about you.
It's about me. It's just like, this is such a weird vibe. Anyway, the 25-year-old female found shit stains in my boyfriend's 20-year-old male underwear multiple times. How do I approach this without causing tension?
There's no way.
There's no way. You just do. I, 25-year-old female, and my boyfriend, who's 28, have been together for 6 years. Over this past year, our intimate life has severely declined. The main issue I'm having is his hygiene. I personally am an extremely hygienic person. I shower every morning and every single night, and I have a strategic body care and skincare routine. Not saying I wash my hair twice a day. I'm talking about a quick rinse off in the shower. Okay, girl. My boyfriend showers.
Anal.
Yeah.
Every morning and every night is wild.
That's
religiously, that's wild.
Yeah. My boyfriend showers maybe once every other day and really only brushes his teeth for a quick minute before bed without flossing or using mouthwash. I also often find his poop-stained underwear on the floor of our bedroom and bathroom. Poop-stained sounds more than skid marks. Yes, exactly. I believe I might even have a little bit of OCD when it comes to personal hygiene, as I really overthink about germs and whatnot. I work in medical, so hygiene is extremely important. I'm finding it really difficult to be intimate with him when I'm worried about his bad hygiene affecting mine. Poop getting on me. Sorry, that's insane. And it's also really hard to be attracted to someone when there are odors. I love him to death, and he's such a good man. But it's, I know, that's what I was thinking. It was like, that's wild. But it's really starting to bother me. I haven't really brought it up because I don't want to hurt his feelings. It also is a major turnoff to me to have to lecture him on how to wipe properly. That is a turnoff.
Hold on, pause. You don't think the fact that you've stopped fucking him has hurt his feelings? Just saying.
You don't think he's noticed? Also,
I just care so much about him. I'm not going to talk about the reason why we're not connecting anymore. Okay, girl.
Literally at all. I need some advice on how to kindly bring this up without making him feel bad. You can't. Edit. More information / answering some questions. I noticed the poop stains on probably 8 out of 10 pairs of his underwear. This is funny to me because somebody had to ask.
Somebody asked, and I'm glad they did, because she undersold at the beginning.
Yes.
Like, the way that she was presenting herself.
It was like one here and one there.
Also, like, he's not embarrassed. Like, he doesn't, like, roll them up and, like, put them in his hamper. He doesn't hide his shit-stained underwear.
Doesn't care.
That's what I was gonna say. He's checked the fuck out. I don't think you're gonna hurt his feelings. Put it that way. If he's leaving a shit-stained underwear on the floor.
Wait, it gets better. I just ordered a bidet. Oh, she's so doesn't want to have this conversation. She ordered a bidet. I'm hoping when it arrives that will spark up a conversation. I've put baby wipes on top of the toilet paper roll. On top of the toilet paper roll, not even on top of the toilet. She's like, if he reaches for toilet paper, I want him to see the wipes.
And he moves the wipes over and wipes his ass dry.
He like wants her to say something.
Also, it doesn't have to be wet for you to get everything. You just have to be committed to wiping till there's nothing there.
Just lift up a leg if you're a little. You just gotta go. You just gotta do a little extra.
Some people don't know how to do it. Maybe he got thick.
He might be thick. When you're thick, you have to do a little extra.
Funny.
I've noticed the poor hygiene this past year when we moved in together. Well, that's usually when it starts. He isn't a big guy, but he is which is crazy because that means he was cleaning up for her. Like when they came back, she would come over and then like.
He stopped.
He
hates living with you. Just kidding. Maybe not.
He isn't a big guy, but he is very hairy.
Oh,
that grossed me out.
Sounds great.
I just pictured hair from the top of the neck to the ass crack.
Yeah.
Like, and all the way through. Hair shouldn't be a reason that he can't get it
If
clean.
she said, you know what I just thought? I wonder if she has to eat his ass because she said smells and shit and like.
She doesn't eat his ass.
Not now.
She
No
wouldn't
white
eat a
women
clean
don't,
ass.
yeah.
She's not one of those.
You don't think so?
No.
She said,
she feels you're unattracted to him because he's acting like you're his mother and you're in his teenage bedroom. Like,
exactly.
Ew.
You're sharing a bed. That's gross because you live in the bedroom too. Like, what? I don't do his laundry at all. He just leaves the underwear on the floor until he's ready to do his laundry, and that's why I see them.
I leave them there until I'm ready.
No fucks
Do
given.
not touch my poopy underwear
Wait,
until I'm ready.
The royal penis is clean, Your Highness. What is that from? Eddie Murphy
Coming
or
to
something.
America,
Yes,
yeah.
thank you. To the few people suggesting getting him black underwear.
Black?
Well, yeah, because you don't see it.
I know, but I'm
That's-
brown.
That's. I'm not supposed to say this, but that's terroristic activity.
Black underwear. That's what he would have did if he gave a fuck, but he doesn't. So
No, that's literally.
Yeah.
If he gave a fuck, that's literally what he would do.
Well, he would wipe.
He'd just wipe his ass.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna wipe his ass.
But only if he gave a fuck about you not knowing, but he didn't give a fuck about himself, he would
Yeah.
just get the black underwear.
I want to know if the skin down there is irritated.
Oh,
like how baby's bottom.
please don't
course.
do this to me.
Of course it is.
To the
It's
person
gotta
that
be
said I'm over the
agitated.
top, how is practicing good hygiene over the top? I never said my routine was 1 hour. I'd say I spend about 20 minutes morning and night cleaning myself. Shower, oral care, and skincare. Oral care should be done morning and night, definitely not every now and then. I work in medical, so I'm constantly exposed to germs and
So
find it really
weird.
important to stay hygienic.
How many times are you gonna say you're working?
I work in medical.
We get it, bitch. You're cleaner
She's
than
a
him.
fucking admin.
She might be cunty, but he's gross.
He is, no, you're right.
The comments said, damn, smells like straight ass in here.
The one thing I'll say that as a guy that I do have some insecurity going forward where like you go, we are fucking gross comparatively.
I don't care how long you've been with someone, it could be till the day you die. If you don't run a finger from your taint through your asshole and make sure it comes out clean before you have sex with someone, if you
Yes.
don't know, you have given up. You have given up. There should be nothing in there coming off. Like, are you serious?
Somebody said, a comment said, when I had my stroke, I made a joke about at least being able to wipe my own ass. My wife looked me dead in the eyes and said if I wasn't able to, I'd already be in a nursing home. Dead ass.
No.
That's brutal.
Oh, are you wiping your husband's ass? If he
Yeah.
has if he has a stroke, yeah. In old age, though, we're having help.
That's the richest shit you've ever
That
said.
is, that is.
That's the richest shit you ever said to me. A nursing home? This was because you're saying someone came to your house, but I'm just saying putting your husband in a nursing home is disgusting.
Oh, putting him in a nursing home is disgusting. Putting a loved one in a nursing home, if you have the means, I think is disgusting.
Butler, please come in here and wipe my
Yes.
husband's ass
Yes.
for me.
Yes.
He's gonna have a bell.
Yes. Bitch, come in here and wipe and wipe. You can even like give him like, I don't know, but I'm not doing it. I can't do it.
You can give him head. Is that what you're gonna say?
Yeah, I was gonna make a joke about it.
You do it anyway.
Take something off my
I would
plate.
do it anyway. Thoughts about this? What should she do? You should have the conversation with him anyway. And
How do you have a conversation with someone who doesn't care? He knows it's happening and doesn't care. What is there to talk about?
okay,
What is there to talk about?
I just have to play devil's advocate. What if he's severely depressed?
I was thinking mentally ill, but
Which isn't an excuse for like doing shit like that necessarily. That's not like an excuse or not an excuse.
Doing shit.
I'm so immature. I can't handle this one.
no level. Okay, yes, you need to have a conversation because you owe it to him because it's been 6 years.
Just do it for like the content.
Even if you break up with him,
Yes.
you have to
For
have
the
a conversation.
content.
No, out
it
of
for the
out of
storyline.
love for who he is as a person and being a person of integrity. Even if you dump him tomorrow, he needs to know why, so he does not carry this to his next relationship. He needs to know that this was the deal breaker, and whether maybe he knows that and wants you to leave him. I don't know. Maybe he's depressed, and this will be the thing that either makes him jump off a roof or fix his lip. I don't know. You have to tell him.
You have to tell him.
You have to tell him. And you literally need to say, this is how I would approach it. I would sit him down and I'd be like, I have to say something to you that's really uncomfortable that I should have said a year ago.
Perfect. Just pat it, just like that little much. Just say it's awkward.
And be like, okay.
And then
be
just
like,
rip it off. Wait, do it to me. I'm your boyfriend. Do
okay.
it. Okay.
I have to talk to you.
What? I'm going to embody him. Hold on.
Okay. Not my actual boyfriend. Sorry.
No,
babe.
I'm gonna be this boyfriend. I'm a white hairy guy.
Okay.
That's so funny. I just got my chin waxed today.
LOL. Hey, can we talk for a second?
Sure.
By the way, I've already planned ahead of time that you have nothing else planned today because I know it's gonna ruin your fucking day. By the way, I thought about that.
I have a book.
I just want to. There's
I just snorted.
already planned ahead of time that you had nothing to do today because I know that you're going to be on suicide watch and I don't have anything to do today. I can leave if you want me to leave, but I can also stay or I can just sit like in another room in case. Let me know.
Just tell me what you have to tell me.
Okay. No, I'm not telling you that.
Oh,
literally.
I thought that was...
That's pause.
Okay, we're paused.
We're paused. Okay,
You just set up
back
the
in.
scene.
Yeah,
Okay.
set the scene. Hey, can we talk about something quick?
Sure.
Great. So I feel really awkward bringing this up, and I should have told you like a year ago.
Okay.
But it really bothers me that you leave your dirty underwear all over the floor.
What are you talking about?
Your underwear is always on the floor.
Yeah, but what are you talking about?
Well, you've clearly already worn it. It's dirty, and it bothers me that you just like leave it there.
Why are you telling me?
Because I
Starts malfunctioning. He's like, I've been caught.
I'm telling you because I've noticed that the underwear are really like they have shit stains in them.
You should watch them. Sorry, I'm playing a really narcissistic horrible boyfriend.
That voice is tripping me the fuck out.
You should watch them.
That is
Wash them. Sorry.
Oh, you should wash them.
Wash
Say it
them.
again.
You should wash them.
You should wash your ass.
And then I would just be quiet.
And scene.
And see Finn. Can we add like applause there?
Yeah. All right, next Reddit. I need advice / perspective. Do I address last night's rage-fueled tantrum? Yes. I don't know. Actually, you might be unsafe. Let me not say yes right away.
Go stay at your friend's house first.
I need some help because I don't know how to deal with my husband's outburst last night or even how to process it. This is the one I sent in the email, by the way.
Yep, I'm getting it. Sorry, I had the other one ready.
No, you're good.
I'm like curling my lip. I need to stop.
You are so perceptive of everything that you're doing all the time. It seems exhausting.
It's so tiring.
Just like
I can't undo
what if
it.
you just
I can.
what if you just make ugly expressions sometimes? Is
I
that
do.
okay? Well, you just like allow it.
I think everything is ugly.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a problem.
fun.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Yeah.
All right. I need some help because I don't know how to deal with my husband's outburst last night or even how to process it. We've been married 20 years. It's been extra tense the last 2 years, and I've been gaining the courage to plan an exit. For 2 years. He goes to bed at 8:30 and has a hard time getting to sleep, so I usually go to bed when he does, so I'm not preventing him from sleeping with noises from TV, etc. Ugh. Yeah. He gets up at 4 a.m. or so. So last week I walked the dog at 8:15 p.m. and saw some neighbors / their dogs and stood there and talked and got home around 8:45 and he was trying to sleep. My being gone without telling him upset him and he said he was worried. And then he couldn't get to sleep. He didn't sleep well that night, so he was mad I disturbed his sleep. I apologized and said I wouldn't do it again. I agreed it was inconsiderate of me. She lives with a tyrant.
Yeah.
She lives with a tyrant. She is a grown-up that has a bedtime.
That's
And-
before 9 o'clock. Sorry, that's a little bit of a joke. But
No, true though. And is like apologizing for socializing for 30 minutes and like not asking for permission. Like
I feel like
this goes deep. This is not like this
can relate.
No,
Not like,
you've never. This is like married for 20 years is like he broke her down to this over time.
I missed the 20 years part.
Married for 20 years.
Sorry, I missed that
You
part.
broke her down over time. I want to know, does she like just sleep from like 8:45 to 8 a.m. and her regular job starts? Or does she get up at 4 a.m. with him and make him breakfast? Unfortunately, I did the same thing last night. Not unfortunately. Oh. I walked the dog, saw some neighbors who are friendly, and talked. This time I texted him to let him know I was talking. This is also the sinister thing they do. They make you believe that there's something that you could do
to stop the fight.
to
or
stop the abuse. Like, oh, well, he was mad I didn't communicate. No, girl, he was just mad, period.
Because you think that he's a normal person.
Yeah, so I'll just communicate next time, and then it'll be fine.
I'm not a good communicator, so I have to communicate better. Nigga, what?
I really like this new lady, and I don't have any friends, but I should have gone home sooner. Not he isolated her to the point of having no friends. And also the fact that she can't schedule a hangout and has to bump into her. Odd. I came home at 9:15 p.m. I was super quiet and tried to slip into bed unnoticed. I didn't even turn on a light. As soon as I got into bed, he started flailing the covers and flapping and sighing and stomped to the bathroom.
So woke himself up and also wasn't asleep.
The dog got excited at it and started running around with a sock and doing zoomies.
Oh, yeah, I bet so, because he was fucking flailing around and winding the fucking dog up.
Maybe he thought he was playing IDK. So I turned on my bedside lamp so he could see where he was going, and when he came back, I apologized and said he won't have to ask me again to not wake him, and I was sorry. He curses and yells and turns and says, turn off your fucking light. I do, but otherwise I stay quiet and still. Quiet and still. She's
Jesus
so
Christ.
abused. She has had so much abuse. This is like the kind of client where if they left tomorrow, they would it would take 5 years to even process, for them to come to terms with how controlled they were. Her life is wrapped around him, and I can tell it just from this email.
Yo, she's clocked. Everything is timed. That's nuts. Yeah, mine is not like that.
He lays back down. About 1 minute later, he starts flailing and throws his CPAP mask and pushes them. I don't know why that was funny.
What a bitch.
Oh, so he's a fucking
bitch.
bitch. Oh, it's always bitch-ass niggas, sorry, who are doing shit like this.
Right.
And punches the mattress and stomps off. Come back. This is also why I could never be with someone like this, because I would have got murdered, because when he threw the CPAP, I would have been like, you good, bruh? And then when he stomped off, I would have been like, ooh.
You have to make fun of that right away and find out. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't not. I could never. It's not even that I'm so good that I would leave, because they break you down over the time to make you feel like you,
Well, the fucked up part is when you're in a shorter one that's escalates like this, you're you push back and then you still ended up fucking crying in bed, even if you fucking push back.
Oh, you do, because it's demoralizing and humiliating to be in a relationship where somebody gets you out of your body like that.
I used to whip around and be like, you just made me do that shit. I would have done some mean shit or something, and I would be like, you just made me do that. Oh,
it did.
It did.
And Bass did it.
Yes.
You know why you're really crying? Because deep down you knew you gave that motherfucking ammo.
Yes.
Motherfucker ammo.
Yes.
And then on top of giving them ammo, you're now questioning if the narrative they've been saying about you is right, which is that you're also the problem.
Yes.
They
so you have
poke
to stay.
You flip out, and then they're like, see? This is why I act crazy, because you're crazy. And then they're like,
if you just worked on you, it would be better.
Yes. Sinister.
I'm angry again.
So he just CPAP. I have to read this again. About 1 minute later, he starts flailing and throws his CPAP mask and punches the mattress and stomps off.
She doesn't know that she hates him, but saying that your man is flailing is disrespectful.
Flailing and pouting.
And you hate that man. She just doesn't know it yet.
Wait, she didn't follow him, so he comes back a few minutes later. Lots of sighs and groans. Again lays down. I try not to move, and then I hear him get mad and throw off covers again and punches multiple times, throws CPAP mask behind his nightstand. Dog is scared. I am terrified. I stay quiet and still.
Intimidating. This
not
is like a
only
tactic.
the animals know to be afraid of him, but also, can I just say, he put his mask back on and then took it off to throw it. I'm sorry. I just and most people be like, he was so mad. No, he wasn't mad at all. He just had to let her know. He had to let her know that she fucked up so bad.
She probably has to hear all night in bed. It's just like, you fucking bitch. You fucking bitch.
I would smother them. I'd be like this, smother him in his fucking sleep.
He sits in the living room and pouts and watches TV. I get up and sit with him on the couch. He says he's so mad he'll be up for hours to calm down. I say, why don't you come into bed and I'll rub your back softly while you go to sleep.
Can I leave now?
He says I should offer to do that at night anyway to help him, and then tells me how awful work is going to be this week. I apologize again. I'm trying to diffuse the situation, but I can't even look at him. We watch TV for an hour and then go back to bed. I can't imagine touching him at all, so I don't offer to rub his back. We go to sleep. I can't sleep and mentally take an inventory for a go bag and think about leaving him. I lay there trying to understand if this is intimidation or abuse or if I'm overreacting. I'm confused. I'm worried the abuse could start to become physical, but then I think I'm being dramatic because he didn't directly threaten me. He did, though.
He literally threw shit. It's intimidation. It doesn't matter.
The animal is scared. I'm sorry. I just
when you're saying quiet and still.
Thank you. You beat me to it. Quiet and still.
Right, exactly.
It's like a rabid animal is in your house. Quiet and still. Did you run up on a bear?
That's like monsters.
When I tell people, how do you recognize abuse? It's not based on what the other person is doing, but it's how the victim is describing their experience lets you know.
So she woke up to stonewalling. This morning, he doesn't say a word to me. He does this quite often. I don't say a word to him. Normally, I always do. I never give the silent treatment, but I can't say a word. He then kisses me on the head as he leaves for work. Because he didn't get what he wanted because you gave him the silent treatment back. Weird, since he's not talking to me and I say, have a good day, but he doesn't respond. Yep. And he took the power back.
Exactly.
I was hoping to get an apology for his tantrum, but I guess I should know better. I'm trying to decide if I bring up his behavior to him or whether it would even do any good.
It won't do any good.
Thanks for reading. I've been in this relationship for so long that I'm so confused what is even normal anymore. And that's the first step, that you know that your perception has been shifted to the point that you don't know what's normal.
This is not the relationship you ever pictured yourself in.
He never hit me, but rarely has done intimidating behavior like when he's super mad. He mostly yells and berates, but doesn't throw things. He occasionally will punch things like a couch or a pillow, but not often. Are you on the couch, though?
Right.
Are you near the pillow? Are you on the bed when he's doing those things? That's part of the intimidation.
He's not
it's
telling
next
you
to
about
you and around you.
He's doing it so you can see. Totally.
It's not worth it talking about it.
No. You need to leave. That go bag that you've been thinking about, pack that shit, sister.
Pack it.
Go stay with a friend. Go stay with a parent.
You could probably leave at, 4:30? Or what time does he get up for work?
Right.
4 a.m.?
While he's like smothering himself with a CPAP, just like throw some shit in a bag and go.
Could she just like unplug the CPAP and shove the hole?
Literally. What would he do then?
I need to blow my nose before the next one.
Okay, next.
Yeah.
Okay. How can I resolve my childhood trauma if I'm shy to speak about it? Trigger warning, sexual abuse.
Don't get quiet.
Sorry, I forgot. I was abused in my childhood by a person close to my family. That has traumatized me and I don't remember much, but I remember bits and pieces which trigger me. I have interesting memories from that day. For example, we had a specific design on our ceiling, and when I was getting attacked, I was looking at that design on the ceiling, and I can't forget how it looked, and remembering that design gives me bad thoughts and anxiety. Anyway, this happened a long time ago when I was a child, and I am now a grown adult, and it's been more than 10 years as I got attacked when I was almost 16, and I am now in my mid-30s. In my mid-20s. I feel like I moved on to my best ability from what this man did. However, I find that I have new struggles. 1, I can't date. 2, I have a messy relationship with men. Same thing. 3,
no, they're totally different.
I know, I'm kind of being silly. 3, I'm constantly stressed, on edge, nervous, flinching. 4, body image issues. To summarize, I find that I can't date at this point. I have never had a boyfriend, and I can't imagine dating someone because I am very scared and embarrassed. If I joined a dating app, we might have to meet in person, and that scares me. I also have body image issues. I feel worthless and ugly, and I can't seem to think otherwise. I find that I'm naturally stressed and on edge, but being around men exacerbates these emotions to new heights. I've avoided men my whole entire life, and I now have male coworkers who are forcing me out of my comfort zone. I really like and appreciate my coworkers, and I am glad that they are my first experience of men, but even they noticed how, quote-unquote, odd I get around them. I continuously flinch, and I can't control it, but they have commented and asked, jokingly, if my parents or someone beat me up as a child. Ooh. I was never...
Sound like black men.
Literally, yes.
You used to get your ass beat?
Right.
Fuck, you always jumping around and
exactly. You jumpy as fuck.
Yeah.
I was never abused in that way, and it was always just the sexual abuse, and he didn't hit me either, but for some reason I get jumpy now, and I think it's because I'm anxious, but it's causing me embarrassment, to be honest. I also find that they are pretty safe men, but other men are not necessarily the same, and I don't know how to deal with that or odd situations or even uncomfortable ones. I suffer with my eating as well, and I go for days without food at times. Ooh, that's not good. I punish myself sometimes by not eating until I feel like I'm about to faint, then I'd eat. I don't know why I do it, but I feel like I deserve it. I truly realize that I need therapy, but I can't get over my embarrassment, and I truly tried. I have visited multiple doctors, but I can't speak about these things, and I can't be honest with them. I want to help myself, especially as I get older, and I can't lie, I feel suicidal at times, but I am religious, and one thing stopping me from offing myself, is being religious, as it's a sin. When people write offing them, it's just, I don't know, sorry, that was really bad.
It wasn't bad.
Is being religious, as it's a sin in my religion, and I can't get myself to do that, but I really have that urge because I feel exhausted, so they're Catholic. And then there's been only one comment. If tonight, I don't even really need to read that. You first.
I knew you were going to do that. So first I had an intrusive thought while you were talking, which is that the reason that this is just a wild guess, but I think it could be helpful. The reason that you have eating issues is because you feel out of control of your life and your body. And so you are creating control by having control over your eating. And the deserve to eat sounds kind of like you've created a reward system. So I'm not quite sure like what that reward system looks like, but I would be curious about that. I think if you weren't on edge all the time, and you weren't so uncomfortable and feeling like the future of your life was out of your control, kind of almost talk about yourself like you're permanently damaged, I feel like you'd probably be eating. The next thing I would say is that you do not have to go into like the details of your sexual assault in any way to like get help in therapy. So like you and your therapist could work on the symptoms or like the things that came from this event without actually working through the event. I'm guessing that you are always in fight or flight mode, and that's why you're so jumpy, which if you went to a therapist who had a real understanding of trauma, they could help you work on like being grounded in your body and like through the negative sensations from that. I also think like, what if, since you just put this all on Reddit, like you just like, when you applied for a therapist, you just like literally drop this and in the like box. So, and then tell them like, this is what's going on.
That's
this is how I feel.
idea.
And like, I don't know when I'll be ready to talk about it or what I'll be ready to talk about. But like, this is what I'm working. This is what I want to get to talking about when I feel safe enough.
It's so interesting that you say that too, because as I was reading it, they're like, there's almost like there's very little like punctuation, which to me it was almost like this person was just trying to like get it out, like they just had to get it out. So
it almost gives like not intoxicated, but something like that, or like just like this manic, like I'm just gonna like
I just have to get it out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's very interesting, Rachel. That's very perceptive. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I agree though.
Well, if you had a client who you had to refer to, like they had like this, and they had told you all this and things like that, what would your recommendation be for like a therapist? Like what kind of things could they look for or ask for? It sounds like
I think they want to specialize with somebody who works with eating disorders. Couple days in a row is like,
that's a lot.
Like risking organ shutdown. So like that's pretty significant and severe. And I think if you told that to anybody who didn't have knowledge of eating disorders, they would refer you out to a higher level of care. And that'd be probably pretty disappointing to like work up the courage to get a therapist. And then that therapist is like, something you have is too fucked up for me to help you. I think that would probably create some trauma. So I would pick someone who's comfortable with eating disorders, and I would pick somebody who's trauma informed, and I would pick a woman because you're nervous around men. And since you're in your mid-20s, I would decide if you want somebody who you feel like reflects you or is a maternal figure. Because I think either one could be nice.
What a nice question.
Yeah.
That's such why that?
Because I think
I understand why, but
I think you have to decide whether what will make you feel comfortable is feeling like the person has more experience than you and can provide compassion and wisdom, or if what makes you more comfortable is feeling seen and like that person is living your experience. And like, so if you feel like you don't want to have to translate and you want that person to like live your experience, if you were, 25 and you got with a 35-year-old, there would be a lot of like things that I think you would probably have in common, just like based off of both being like, maybe, I don't know, I'm projecting because it's me, but like younger millennial and like then like older Gen Z or whatever the thing is. Because I think like the generational gaps matter, especially when we're talking about trauma that happens like developmentally, because like it is just different talking to somebody about, your teenage years who grew up with social media versus who didn't, or like, like somebody who grew up in a time where it's, like certain things are normalized that are not normalized previously. And then like, obviously the maternal piece is like plenty of people, if you have empathy or compassion, don't have to have lived experience to be able to empathize and like take your perspective. They're good therapists. They can do it, period. But because you're so nervous, I would just try to think of all the factors that could make you feel good going in. And then I would recommend in person if you can swing it.
I was just going to say
I would recommend in person if you could swing it, because I think it feels more vulnerable, but there's something safe about being in an environment that they create for you that feels good. Like you're going into the space and stepping into something that's hard, and then you get to leave it behind. It's not in your fucking bedroom. Like it's just kind of, I don't know.
You're not seeing things that remind you of you. Like it's kind of a blank space for.
You're like, okay, I go in here, I do really hard things, and then I just leave them in that room.
And it's great.
And I just like close the box. Like that's what my therapist always does. Like, we're gonna open the box of all your trauma, and then at the end of session we're gonna close the box. And like you just tell yourself we'll come back to it. It's important, but you don't have to deal with it between session.
I love that.
And so those are all my recommendations. And I would say, you know, because you're in your mid-20s, like, I don't know where you live, but if you live in not a coastal area or, like, a city, like, don't harp on yourself as though you're, like, so behind because you haven't, like, found a partner or somebody in your mid-20s. Like, you might be behind in terms of, like, dating and get to know yourself when it looks like with dating, but, like, you have, like, almost 15 years probably to, like, meet somebody that could be, like, a great partner. So, like, relax on that a bit. Like, you got to be able to just, like, get through the day without feeling on edge before you can start thinking about finding, like, a real boyfriend. I'm not saying not dating around, but, like...
Also, I have a belief that maybe they're also, like, uncomfortable around people. Like, I'm curious just around, like, about their support system. Like, I don't know. How am I?
Yeah. Thank you. How are you? Beat me to it.
I am, just as you were like talking about that, I was like thinking about my week. Well, first I'm going to check in about last night.
Oh yeah,
about
Karen.
I was being a Karen. I'm almost proud of it, only because I never do shit like this. So I'm like, your
inner Janet was killing.
I was enraged.
Now, I'm sorry to interrupt this wonderful check-in, but it got a little too personal. So if you'd like to hear the rest of it, subscribe to us on Patreon. Now, back to the show.
Like, I get disgusted, kind of. Like, you're not supposed to go to pieces. You're like...
That's not who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally get that.
I feel defensive of her when I'm like, I just want to like...
No, I do too. I mean, I'm saying I feel just sad. I don't like seeing it.
I have this mental image of what I want to do this sounds really weird, when I want to do for Jave, not to her, when she's like
to
really
her.
I get turned on when Jave cries. Yeah. Thanks, Rach.
No, it's that I want to like put you on the couch and like wrap you up and like put like a little thing on, even like a Snuggie, and I want to like tuck you in and then like put one of those like compressor things on you so you're nice and calm, and then like slowly vibrate it.
That sounds very suffocating.
I
will take some really greasy food and some alcohol, and then I will pass out after. Just beautiful. FYI.
Are you guys both good caregivers when your significant other is sick?
Oh, yeah.
I'm a good one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm great at it.
My partner sucks at it.
Yeah. No, my ex, like, truly, she gets disgusted that I'm sick, right? Like, it was the worst.
How is she with the kiddos?
I think she's just fine with them, I think.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Yeah. But I just feel like there's some people who are, it's just like, man, like you're a walking germ, and that shit irks my soul.
It does. I like, it's kind of, I think it's because people are, like, passive then, so I'm not going to feel threatened by them or something. I don't know.
You know, I like getting a little warm cloth, and I like getting them.
Yeah, I like taking care of people.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
feels great.
It feels great. Yeah, it does.
All right, let's talk about our topic this week, which is kind of like a big topic that's broken into several topics, which is like the protesting that's been happening on college campuses. But before we kind of got into that, I think what I would like to talk about first is like updating on kind of what's been happening in Gaza. Not that anybody should be getting their news from us, but I think like there has been...
It's just important.
I think what's going on right now, specifically in this period of time in Gaza, is part of why the protests are going on. So the two are connected. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, you could speak to this probably better than I could just because you keep up on all this shit. But
I know. It's so bad.
Achoo.
I know. Exactly.
Achoo.
And I feel like some of the things that have stuck out to me since the last time we've talked is that after the ground invasion in the north, as they've starting to do this ground invasion in the south of Rafah, or I should say preparing to do it, you know, as the infrastructure has been damaged, as, you know, people have gotten into the areas where they have done ground invasions and there's like less civilian population left there now, we're finding like mass graves. And
whenever you just say it, I just like see like
mass graves and like a lot of bodies of women and children. There's a lot of people being brought to prison for unknown reasons and then dying.
But it's not a genocide.
But
But it's not a genocide.
Not a genocide, even though the ICJ said it was a genocide.
And we are also completely joking because it is definitely a genocide.
And then they're also still blocking aid coming in. There's still bombing occurring. I'm seeing videos go around online, which everyone says the videos online are fake, but a lot of them don't look fake to me.
They do not look fake to me.
Of people saying like that there's not the like warning missiles haven't been getting dropped the same. Like some places are just getting bombed without any kind of warning to clear out of the building. I saw publication in Al Jazeera where they were talking about how like this is the worst infrastructure like removal basically or demolition since World War II.
It's so insane because
this is pause though.
Yeah.
This is what we all knew was going to happen, but it's still disgusting to watch it play out.
It feels like it's not.
I feel helpless, by the way.
Completely. You and I were talking about this maybe like a week or so ago, that it feels like I think we both had to kind of like check out for a second.
Just for a second.
Maybe longer, but it's horrendous. And I actually was watching what's his name? BB Speak this week, Netanyahu. And he like made some new, kind of at the same time that Biden was speaking, actually. He put out like a video of himself speaking in English, actually, and talking about how they are doubling down, how they're still running the party line of they're just looking for terrorists, they're just looking for Hamas, and I didn't finish the whole thing. I couldn't like listen to the entire thing, but what I was thinking about afterwards is that none of it was super scary. It's insidious to me listening to it because I know kind of like what he's about and all that. And I've actually seen him speak live. It's nuts. But
is he a powerful public speaker?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's very charismatic and very calm, not super like vitriolic, isn't like finger wagging, just very like
It's
this.
like grandfather-esque kind of.
Very grandfather-esque, very put together. And I knew this before, but it clicked for me just then how insidious like politicians probably come across like in other parts of the world. There's a reason why people like when they talk about Americans or they think of like us in a very insidious way, and how politicians talk to us is like we think it's very normal, but nothing he was saying sounded outrageous.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's standing like I can imagine it sounds like he's standing up for his country. It's like all these things that we kind of maybe normalize here in the same way when we hear people speak.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably the same around the whole world, but it just made, I'm kind of getting off, but it made me think about like how much propaganda is just like right there.
All the time.
Which I knew, but I was just like.
All the time.
There's a video of Hitler going around too that people put his, it's actually AI.
Into English?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Did you see that? And put that speech into English? And it was so regular. He looks really angry, but what he's saying is like, you can see how people get on board so easily with like fucked up shit.
Yeah.
It's actually insane, which I knew.
Yeah.
But like, they're just rolling out like, they're shooting college students, which they've already done. This isn't even like a new thing. Like we've been doing this, but like, it's just nuts.
I think seeing the TikToks of like the Israeli women mocking Palestinians, so they'll put like makeup on and like it has blood and shit, like they're mocking people or die. Like it's so like fucking
And
inhuman.
the videos of them signing the bombs, like signing the missiles, and like kids, they like people sitting out and watching it being dropped. But
Right.
here's my thing, and this is why when like all of these conversations happen, like white supremacy always comes into the topic, because like I'm having a really hard time understanding why in like the global space or even in America in the spaces that are anti-Palestine, like how you can quantify that, like you're saying like, no, like I don't think Israeli lives are more important than Palestinian lives, but like the amount of Palestinian life lost
Is not the same.
is egregious, and people are underreacting to it happening on massive levels. And I just cannot imagine that if Israel was losing a war and war is generous, but war, and over 30,000 people had been killed in 6 months or however long.
Can you imagine what the world would look like?
It would be World War III.
Exactly.
It would be World War III.
Precisely. Pre-fucking
and so it's the most gaslighting shit ever, because I'm open to it not being white supremacy, and I'm open to it not being us like selectively cherry picking whose lives are important. But like, that's what it's coming across as, and I haven't heard anything else different.
I haven't heard anything else, and I'm not mad at that
I
either.
actually
you know,
have.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So I have friends like that I was very shocked supported Israel in this.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a very, very difficult conversation because it's something that I can't see how an educated person can see it in the way that they saw it. And what they broke it down to, what's that?
That's what everybody says.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, how can educated people, and this is, you know, civil rights, Holocaust, everything is like educated people aren't like morally, doesn't mean they're like ethically or morally conscious. But anyway, keep going.
Well, I guess what's odd to me in this one is like, I understand in a way that, I don't want to say that I understand like the civil rights type shit, but it's like they are other than you directly. Like I can see how people could say that's not my team or like whatever, right? Whereas these people are, from my vantage point, totally independent of this thing going on, right? So like you'd think that they're not clouded by emotion, I guess.
Okay.
And the way that they see it, and they're both very political people, is that we have treaties with Israel. Israel is our whatever key partner and all that. Yeah, like all that shit. And it's like whether right or wrong, like that's who we're with. That's who we got to roll with.
It's the whitest take.
I don't disagree. I'm just saying that's what I heard. I do believe these people that they're not. Yep. It's not because of race. That it is just.
I don't think that
so dumb.
It's not because of race.
I don't think it's because of race. I'm trying to say with the white supremacy.
I think a lot it is though.
I think a lot it is, but what I'm trying to say from like the white supremacy piece is that we've all been conditioned to value some lives as valuable and some lives as not. And what I would counter into that is just point blank period. The world has been conditioned to think, for instance, American lives are valuable, white or not. Like black, whatever. Like when you're not in this country and you're an American, your life is valuable.
And we are conditioned to think about Jewish lives as better than Muslim lives, actually. But we don't want to talk about that, right?
So last week when we were going to talk about it, the protests were actually happening at the U, but they resolved that.
They did.
And it seems like a lot of the college campuses are protesting for a variety of reasons. Seems like they want their universities to divest from Israel, which took me a little bit to figure out because I am in the brainwashed group of people who thought that, stupid of me, thought that our tuition was paying for college.
I did up until recently.
Paying for the colleges. I didn't realize like some of it was endowments from the government. Some of it is like them investing in things. Like I truly believe that like tuition.
Everybody
and then,
does.
Can you educate? Yeah, because I'm not aware of this.
Okay. Rachel can.
Oh, you can too. I barely know that much. But so a lot of marketing goes into telling families and prospective students that tuition is so expensive because we need it to afford salary and we need it to afford your room and board. And maybe some of that is true, but most of how colleges and universities pay their employees, pay the president, get things done is with endowments. Okay. And an endowment, I don't know how to talk about it in a smart way, but
essentially a grant.
It's a big ass grant from the government that they give to schools that they essentially, it's supposed to be for certain things, but it gets paid out to the president essentially. And what's crazy is I tried to find this and I couldn't find it again, is somebody actually broke down like.
Hold on, wait, can I interrupt for a second?
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
Gabe, that middle one, the protests are calling on universities to divest from Israel. Here's what that means, if you could pull that up.
Okay.
But so basically part of, yes, there's the grants from the government, but also with that money and with other funds, they are investing in companies and other resources in order to get money
Tell
back.
us what type of companies.
Oil companies, Amazon,
arms,
Google,
guns,
weapons manufacturers overseas,
direct, which means,
direct ties to Israel.
Direct ties to conflict all over the world, yeah.
Yeah.
Congo, Sudan. People are always saying you're not mentioning other things. So
How direct is that money?
It's
I mean,
direct. Pull
direct.
it up.
Okay, that's
and
what I'm
that
looking
and
for.
that is one of the things that protesters
It's in the one.
I know it's in the email or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's
I
one
just
of the
gotta
things that
get to it.
protesters are like asking for in a lot of these demands is not only like to divest, but to put your public record, to make your records public for people to see where
You
the
get your
money's
money.
going. Yeah, where you're getting your money and where you're putting your money. Exactly.
No one's gonna want to do that. That's how they steal so much money out of universities.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
And that's also part of what people have been there was something on NPR about that, how, I think it's Columbia, their endowment is, I don't even know, some billion amount of dollars, and a big portion of it goes to the president. And then like you break down where else it goes, and like it actually should enrage everybody at the school.
Well, I can't believe they really have these big ass fucking alumni dinners and shit to have all these donors. That's also my uneducated, like not Ivy League ass. I guess I'm educated. I have a master's degree.
I was about to say,
But my non-Ivy League, like non-like competitive schools or whatever, like I genuinely just thought like, oh, like Yale and all those places have so much money because they have people who come from it that are very successful and families who donate money. And, you think about the library that has the person's name on it and like all of those things. And so then you start
those
to
are the
be like,
extras.
Yes. Then you're like, oh, those are the extras. Those are ego. Those are competition. That's about
Getting your kid into a school.
Yes.
Exactly.
Now I'm like, oh, yeah, of course Richie over here gets it.
I know, sorry. It's because there's a hospital.
What building did they pay for you to get into in DePaul? I'm just kidding.
No, but there is a hospital named after my family in northern Minnesota.
Holy shit! Are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
Where in northern Minnesota?
In where was my mom? Where were they born?
Where did your family money come from? I'm sorry, I just gotta ask. I know it's not.
It's fine. My grandfather was a
like a drug dealer? Or?
No, what is this called?
It's way more money than drug dealers.
He made it's called Sure Ventures, so he's a venture capitalist.
But you have to have money to be a venture capitalist. So how did he become a venture capitalist?
He made money off of, so I don't know like how he made this much money, but
It's nice that you have that kind of respect for your family history.
I know. Well, it gets a little muddy because they don't like to talk about this period, I think. There's his family had a furniture store that they ran, and and they sold. Well, first they sold like junk. When they his family came over from Europe, they escaped like the war or whatever.
Which war?
World War II.
The Holocaust?
Yeah.
Your family are Holocaust survivors?
Sorry. My great grandmother left.
Why'd you speak into her mic?
I leaned over. That's
like,
why.
shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I leaned over. No, literally, the Holocaust, and
For everybody on here saying she's not a Jew.
and they're white Jews. They're white. They're like the ones that y'all like. So my great grandmother's from Lithuania, and my other family is from some other places. But my grandfather, he's a savant. I think he's just everybody who talks to people who aren't in my family are just like the way. And he can't explain money to you. Like I used to try and ask him explain stocks to me or explain.
Yeah.
And he can't really do it.
Interesting.
But he just he's just fucking smart and had hella privilege and is white, and
there's a lot of missing pieces to this story, but it sounds legit enough.
There's a lot of missing pieces.
You want something
down.
else, Jave, here?
No, roll down. Yeah.
Okay, yep. So I got this. Let's see, here it comes.
Yeah, it sounds legitimate enough, but I'm not quite sure if I
don't know how he made millions and millions of dollars. Good investments.
Millions and millions. Jesus Christ, that's crazy.
He
must have been
That's crazy.
All those speakeasies and bootlegging.
I think
was
not.
Doing. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
No.
Her grandpa was like this petite, well kept,
nerdy,
wouldn't lower himself to it kind of man. Well, that's why it was funny.
But he was a drinker. I think he got fired from the family business, and I think started his own venture capitalist thing and started buying businesses, and then you sell them is essentially what that does.
It sounds like you're saying adventure capitalist every time.
Oh, adventure. He started a venture capitalist firm called Sure Ventures. And he invested well in entertainment really early, I guess.
In entertainment?
He invested.
Who invests in that? That's amazing.
So because he's Jewish, he invested in the Coen brothers movies, and they're Jewish
Shut
filmmakers.
the fuck up.
Yeah. So
shut the fuck up. You're blowing me away right now.
Their first couple movies were with some money from him. Yeah.
That's crazy. That is fucking
I didn't know that
crazy.
till recently, actually. That was a new one for me.
So is he alive?
No, he died over the
this
summer.
year.
Yeah, he died over the
Summer.
summer. It's a real
And
tragedy.
he watched the podcast. Very cute.
He's the only one.
Yeah. So I have a question. So I feel like, I mean this genuinely, I feel like people like that get wealthy off of grit, like pure grit and intelligence. How do you, if you raise children who know that they're coming into millions of dollars, create grit?
I don't fucking know because I don't have it.
Yeah. That's my number one thing that I care about, you know?
Like how?
And I have no clue because
You have to let them struggle, and was his Achilles heel and a good thing is he couldn't let any of us. He couldn't let his kids struggle. He was an enabler.
But you really
what a good guy.
can't. But you really can't let
matter?
your kids struggle
No,
because
I don't
they know that there's always going to be a bailout. Like you're going to make them be fake poor for 5 years. Like, is that going to do it? Like, I feel like the only thing that would create grit is if like they had a passion that you couldn't buy from money.
Yeah.
So okay.
Then you had to like work through that. I'm just like brainstorming now, but like maybe that kind of thing.
That's interesting because I was going to contradict you because I was going to say I know that I have like crazy grit because I've fucking outworked everyone in my life, but I also when I was young, it took me a long time because I did have privilege and I did know that. Like I actually knew. I remember thinking like, well, if shit really blows up, like, you know, dad's got my back kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of, and basically I had to lose it to get to a place. And then I just,
do you think your addiction blew it up for you? Like,
I think I did it deliberately.
That? Yeah.
I think I did it deliberately for sure.
You needed that too. Yeah. Because you also created hardship.
Yes.
You did.
No, I used to think, I used to actually think, I used to hate it when people would say I was a good boy.
Really?
Dead serious. And they said it all the time because I was a really sweet boy. And I was like I was quiet. I was a quiet, sweet boy. And I hated it when people would say it. And I'd be like, I'm not a fucking sweet boy. I'm not, I don't know. I've always had this thing. I'm seeking the dark side and seeking some, and I don't know why really, except that.
Interesting. I don't have that.
Yeah.
Although I do like being reckless, but that's because I always had to be responsible and make good choices because I never once thought anybody was bailing me out. So.
Right. No, I'm very I sort of admire people like you and view you as like better than me and all that because I just go.
So does Rachel.
Yeah. No, I do. Even though I also go, there's certain things that I have an edge to where it's like I like have
edges.
I have like understanding of certain things.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's weird.
And the best thing that ever happened to me was going to a school with kids who had money and being exposed to a different world.
Yeah.
If I hadn't gone to Southwest, and that was when
Where'd you go?
Southwest High School.
Airlines? Okay.
And the busing system was like, it was Edina, and then like one of the richest parts of Minneapolis besides around the lakes. And all of those kids had money, and I had some friends that I traveled with. That was great life experience to like leave the country and be able to do that.
Wow.
And then like I got to see like other people's lives and like what was normal to them and like interact with like that whole thing. And so now when I'm around people who have shit, I don't feel out of place. It's great.
You got it. So did you get a rich friend right away, kind of?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just however it happened?
She wasn't rich, but yeah, I guess she was.
To you,
To
at
me,
that
she
time.
was. To me, she was. Like, all my friends had cars, you know, like...
Where you see pictures of them, like, on a ski hill in Colorado or something. It's like, what the fuck you guys
Or,
doing?
like, you know, she's like... I remember my best friend, like, every winter break, they would go on some extravagant-ass trip. So she'd be like, I can't talk to you because I'm going to Taiwan for 3 weeks. Or, like, I can't talk to you because I'm going to this private island in Brazil off of the coast.
That's
blah,
crazy
blah,
to
blah.
me.
You know, and it's like... I went to Mexico with her and like we went to like not the whitewashed part and like
Right.
you know, just like I got to like be like, oh, or like go to people's homes and like see things and like be around other people where like college was just an expectation and like of course you're gonna be successful and like of course I'm gonna pay for your school and it was just like it was good. It was great exposure.
The interesting thing that you said is like the experiences of like other people's values about like with their kids. It's like, of course you're going to school and of course you're like doing this and of course we'll support you. That is like, I think that was like my grandfather. And that is part of like, you don't have grit is because you almost know that there's an expectation that like, you're going to succeed and we're all going to push you. And so you don't need to like, any grit kind of gets washed out.
Yeah.
Unless you have like some sort of like adverse experience maybe, but like.
Yeah, man, I don't know. And then it's like interesting because then these kids have these really easy lives and then they also don't have to do chores, which always throws me. Because I'm like, well, like, what? Like, how are you gonna how are you gonna cook for yourself when you move out and like you don't do laundry? And like it was just like the most like.
Well, it's because in those families the parents aren't doing chores. Like you have somebody doing chores, and so there's nobody teaching chores. Nobody's doing chores.
I still remember my mom. So my mom is always like, even if we had to lie about our address, she's like getting me into like the bougie public school. Like whatever is the best public school, I'm going to that one.
With the IB program.
Yeah, with all the things. So like I went to Dowling for elementary school, which is like literally on the river with all these like wealthy houses around it. It's like all white kids. It's like very like all my friends had stay-at-home moms, and like I remember like getting in the, and like also all the stay-at-home moms babied the shit out of their kids. Like we get picked up in first grade for like a play date after school, and like if I'm in first grade, that means I'm 7, so that means my mom is like 25. And like, you know, I'm like, get to go to the play date or whatever. And like, we get in and like, they still have booster seats and shit. You know, I'm just like, what the fuck is going on?
I couldn't sit in the front for forever.
We go there and like, we have snack. And I'm just like, okay, like, cool. And then, you know, like, I remember, I'll never forget this. My mom still talks about it. Like, they call my mom and they're like, is Javae staying for dinner? Like, she's welcome. We just want to check, like, how many portions of like duck we should make. And it was like a Tuesday night. And I was like, my mom was like, I'm going to come get her.
That's too much. It's too far.
Did you ever do the little kid thing and make your mom feel like shit about, like, you know, things that you can get at other houses or anything like that?
No.
I mean, that's a natural thing.
No, I never did it because I always wanted my mom's approval. So
okay.
That's why I didn't do it.
I see.
I'm sure I was in my head like, these bitches got it easy. But
just even like why over there they get to do, because, you know, kids don't understand money like at all. Like at least for a while.
I don't ever remember not knowing about. I don't ever remember not hearing. Yeah, that's class.
Yeah.
My son just said, he said that he heard that, he said, are grandma and grandpa rich? And I said, rich, I wouldn't use, but, you know, kind of, yeah, or, you know, like whatever, like, yeah. And then he said, is that true that they are rich because Uncle Adam gave them $3,000?
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
It was so fucking funny.
This was my childhood. Mom, can I have McDonald's? We don't have money for McDonald's.
Right.
Like 5. You know what I'm saying? And like dead ass meant it.
You know what though? Like I respect that, and truly I feel like one of my shittiest things as a parent is I never want to say that to my kids because I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
So I kind of put stupid pressure on myself sometimes
to like just always have it, to have the thing. I also do that. Like whenever my brother is with me, I'm like, I got it. Like everything, anything he wants to go to the store. I'm like, not like obviously
spend me down to fucking $10 left in my account. Yeah, but as
especially
long as
like when we go out to eat or like get the thing or whatever. Like, and I have a lot.
I'm still like that.
It's a lot easier for me to say no to like toys and shit than it is like when we're having an experience to have him miss out on anything in the experience. I like can't do it.
Yes.
Like I'm like, okay, get the $15 popcorn at the movies, because to me that's part of the experience. Okay, so last thing I wanted to say
great
about
podcasting, guys.
Yeah, I know we really just blew that out of the fucking
I'll
water.
cut all that shit
no,
out,
please don't cut it. Leave it.
Okay.
I kind of like it when we do that.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I do too. Just leave it. We haven't done it in a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so the divestment piece, they were talking about it a little bit on this, and it looks like they're investing in companies that are supplying equipment and military operations. And then I think that there was a part in this where they were also talking about how basically like their portfolios, so like the universities have their own investment portfolios basically. Like I think you mentioned this earlier, but like we don't know what's in their portfolios.
No.
Like, we don't really know exactly what they are invested in. But some of the examples I've seen are things like Amazon and like
Lockheed Martin, things like that. Yeah.
Like students are going so far as to say like if you know are putting money into a company that's helping Israel even abstractly, like you need to pull out.
And they found them.
Yes.
They're like pulling these out, and this is what I think. I just read it here. I didn't read it before.
Yeah.
But it's like it's a very difficult task to pull out every single company that is connected to Israel, because actually most companies are connected to Israel.
Yes.
Which is
Yeah, you don't know about
which is part of like our financial infrastructure is directly connected to Israel and actually Russia and China. We just don't want to talk about it.
I just feel like it always goes back to the money. Like when is it not
always
back to the money?
The reason that Biden got on TV and can't, and I don't think he actually really gives a fuck anyways, but
Yeah, we can end on this Biden bullshit, his statement that he made.
no, literally.
Her brother, we were texting with her brother, like, what should we talk about for the podcast tonight? And he was like, we could talk about Biden's concession speech. And that's how it felt. That's how it felt.
That's how the fuck it felt.
I didn't hear this
how
at
it
all.
felt.
Oh,
Okay.
you gotta watch it. Oh, you gotta watch it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just chef's kiss.
It's not chef's kiss. It's disgusting.
No, it's chef's kiss in like pure
In disgust,
It's
right.
him saying I'm not getting reelected.
So he got up there on the podium to talk about the protests and what's happening, and basically said that he is the law and order candidate.
Oh, shit.
Yes, and that these protests are causing chaos. One thing I will say that I noticed. Actually, let me just talk about what it says first. So he goes up there. He says that he's the law and order candidate. He says that, yes, that we have right to have peaceful protests, but these protests aren't peaceful. There's vandalism, there's trespassing, there's destroying of property, and the protests are causing chaos. He also said that the protests are threatening and intimidating people, and was kind of playing, he was saying that and then kind of throwing in there the both sides thing, like Muslims should feel safe and Jews should feel safe and like everyone should feel good. And then at the end they asked him, sorry.
That's okay.
At the end, they asked him, Biden, will any of this protesting change your policy? And he said no. And then they asked, should they send out the National Guard? And he said no, and like ran behind the door. But the thing that was so interesting about what he did, scurried. And like the creating chaos, the threatening and intimidating people, yes, that, but also a lot of the things that he was saying that the protests were doing sounded very subjective, not objective. Like creating chaos is like a personal feeling.
Yes.
Like, what does that mean? Is it actually the protest itself that is creating the chaos? I don't think that it's true.
It's the cops showing up. It's force being shown up, because literally this is what I've been hearing is protesters.
Wait.
What?
This is the best part. I wrote this down. He said this word for word. He goes, racism isn't American. Word for
What do you mean? That's our thing.
word. He goes, racism isn't American.
With Custer behind him.
That's Teddy Roosevelt.
No, it is Roosevelt. No, I know.
Dead fucking serious. Racism isn't our thing.
That, I could go one further.
I wish that I could explain the feeling in my body when you're... I feel like somebody parked in front of my parking space. I'm like, it's like, how could nobody... And seeing people like continue to cape for him and be like, he's just doing this and he's just doing this. I'm like, what?
Well, people are really afraid to talk negatively about him because they think talking negatively about Biden means Biden or Trump's going to get elected.
And he is going to get elected.
I think it's cool that you guys are going to vote for him, though. That's cool. You guys made the call tonight?
What?
You guys just said you're not voting for Biden, right?
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
I said people are afraid that we're
you
not
guys
joking.
like Trump?
No.
Okay.
No, but that's the thing, right? So, but I think people are afraid, like, we're going to say, people say negative things about Biden, and then nobody votes for Biden, and then Trump wins. I'm going to say, one, I think Trump's going to win anyways. That's like that's the feeling that I'm getting.
I think he will.
I think he's going to win anyways. I think that people who are going to vote for Biden just because they hate Trump are going to vote for Biden no matter what Biden does. So I don't even think that's going to rule them out.
Agreed.
And I think like anybody who's very far left was lost after October 7th.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be, he was a vegetable last election.
He talked
what's
about,
the difference?
It's not only a dog whistle just for people to get scared about saying, I'm the law and order candidate. It's also to let Trump supporters who are listening to this be like, oh, like it's kind of like to get some of those middle ground people to vote for him.
Yeah.
It's just so calculated and political. Like no part of this is like, which we know. It's not surprising. It's just.
Why do you think it's going to lose him the election? The speech.
He wasn't going to win it anyway.
I don't think he was going to lose him. It was just a joke. But it was just him digging
sure.
his grave with the far left even farther.
But they're still going to vote for him because of Trump.
I think they might not vote.
No, I don't think. I think a lot of people are not going to vote because of Israel-Palestine.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think people hate Trump so much. I mean, people on the left, on the far left.
I'm going to say, I'm sorry to do this, but like middle-aged.
I'm not offended. I'm not a middle-aged white person.
Hate Trump so much that they will vote for Biden more. I don't think that Gen Z en masse maybe some of
millennials. I think a lot of millennials will vote for Biden. I think a lot of millennials are ingrained in the democracy now. This is better than this. Like I think millennials. I think it's Gen Z, and
and they make up a lot.
Who's Gen Z again? That's
26 and down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so like it's just a joke, but I do think people are afraid to talk negatively about Biden because they're afraid that will mean people won't vote for Biden, but just won't vote, period. I don't think anybody's worried that people who were going to vote for Biden in the Gen Z category are now going to vote for Trump. I think it's the thought that they're not going to vote at all.
And the Democrats just aren't doing anything about it. It's like, fight back!
It's our whole political system. Like, no one wants to admit they're wrong.
As I was watching this, though, I couldn't stop thinking about how he had just said ceasefire in his like State of the Union address. And I know it wasn't just, it was a couple months ago, but and how counter like his statements around like we want Israel to stop what they're doing is to them giving them $26 billion towards their
on top of the billions that we've already given them
for their offensive campaign, not even for defense, for their offensive campaign to go into the south of Rafah after we've already saw how their ground invasion has impacted the rest of Gaza.
Wait, so you're telling me that we sent in the Red Cross for aid and now we're sending missiles and arms in to destroy where we just sent aid in? Can't believe it. Can't believe it. I can't believe we would do something like that.
Do we know how much, or I guess, have either of you looked to see how much the aid exchange is between us and Israel? Like how much money, in like direct aid packages?
I don't know. I just know that this recent aid package that was signed is part of why the protests were kicking off on college campuses.
The thing that I can appreciate about people talking about the aid now is that before, I think that there was like this, and I'm one of these people who thought that aid was cash, like we're sending money over. I didn't know that aid was... we're rebuilding universities, we are sending guns over, that we pay for cosmetic stuff, and like it bundles together literally taking care of a country. I didn't know that like it could be just minuscule shit. It's us paying for like textbooks for another country that we have like, and so as we tear down, there are no universities in Gaza or in Palestine. There's maybe like one university left, I think, or something like that in Palestine. And we are literally giving aid to Israel to build universities and like send them like, so it's just like
that a lot of the money
I don't have the word for it. It's
goes to Ukraine.
Ironic.
We're actually charging interest on in the long run if they make it and stuff. So it's like we're actually pot committed. Yep. It's like we have to. Yeah. Otherwise we lose all this money now.
Yep. We actually have to. It's nuts. So that's part, and I said this to Jave earlier before we got on the mic, is part of me feels a little bit defeated because that's just how we were. It's what the United States is built on, is just doing things like that. And so I think that protesting is wonderful and great and necessary and is American and is like universal in getting like shit pushed and being inconvenienced and all of that. I have yet to, and I could be wrong, I don't know everything. I have yet to see it change. I wish. Anything structurally, governmentally, like almost anywhere. Most governments stay set up how they're set up. Most like diplomatic relations are going to continue.
Tons of social change. But not.
Yeah, exactly. Tons of social change. Maybe the needle will move in some way.
If the George Floyd's riots didn't change policing, which they didn't, it's like that's pretty scary.
If the Vietnam student protest didn't change anything, if the Korean student protest didn't change anything,
well,
if
back
civil
then
rights,
they fucking shot the students.
They're shooting them now.
Yeah.
At Columbia, what is it? Eric Adams literally is bringing in the National Guard.
Yeah.
And then going on the Breakfast Club and talking about how he was in the club. Like, it's just like, what a weird fucking time.
Did the Breakfast Club press him?
No. And that's why, people are like,
so
but they had somebody on who pressed the fuck out of him. A black woman lawyer came on and gave him the riot act, and everybody else was silent. It was crazy.
So they did press him indirectly.
They had some, but they brought her on, and I guess.
But Charlemagne should be anyone.
But you knew he wasn't going to do that. No, he was not going to do that.
We didn't know he was not going to do that. I didn't know he wasn't going to do that. Isn't he supposed to be the ask the hard questions guy.
But he doesn't
He
do that
is,
to
but
any
he's
of
kind of
them.
rightist, or like, yeah.
I don't think he's right, but I think he's not as critical.
I think a lot of guys on the street would say he's pretty right. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I agree with you. I think he's just pretty, you know, he's a lot
I don't
of
get
times
why
logical.
he needs to go on Fox. I don't get why I don't get the need to, like, his audience. I don't get it. He's trying to be like.
He's done the whole, like, you got to talk to the other side, though. He said that.
Yeah, I get why he's doing
good.
it. I just don't think it's necessary. Like, it's just not. It's not that different. It's kind of like a.
Is Eric Adams black?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I feel like it's time to call it.
Yeah. We've been here for a while.
We have been here for a while. We'll be see you next week.
See y'all next week. We have to
That's the first time I've ever been ready for you. I'm so proud of myself.
You did it last time, too. You must have
Barely.
scrambled.
I was sweating my ass off to get it. NBC. No relation to NBC.